What's up, rock stars? Boom! Hey, hey, hey! So today's saint of the day for June 14th, 2026, Saint Methodius, or Methodius I, Patriarch of Constantinople. He was born in the late 18th century in Syracuse, Sicily. Died June 14th, 447 AD, Constantinople, which is now modern Istanbul, Turkey. His feast day, the day he died. Not a coincidence. It's by design, canonized. He was pre-congregation, venerated as a saint and confessor by ancient tradition in both the East and the Western churches. Notable role, Patriarch of Constantinople from 842 to 847, defender of icons, and a prolific writer. So, Methodius was born in Syracuse on the island of Sicily in the late 8th century. He eventually made his way to Constantinople, the heart of the Byzantine Empire and the Eastern Church, and built a monastery on the island of Chios. His gifts as a churchman and theologian brought him to the attention of Patriarch Nicephorus, Nicephorus, that might be the correct, the head of the church in Constantinople. To understand his story, you need to know about one of the great controversies of the early medieval church, iconoclasm. So the movement that sought to destroy sacred images, icons, paintings of Christ, Mary, and the saints. It had been central to Christian worship and devotion for centuries and still very much a part of our faith today, thanks to this wonderful saint. So, where was I? At the beginning of the 8th century, a series of Byzantine emperors decided that venerating icons was idolatry and ordered them destroyed. This triggered one of the most bitter theological and political fights in church history. But since we don't worship the icons, we venerate them. So that's the difference. That is, in and of itself, doesn't make it idolatry, because we're not worshiping them, we're actually just venerating them. So we only worship Christ. Even as Catholics, we only worship Christ. Ambassador to Rome. In 815, Ambassador Leo V, the Armenian and iconoclast, exiled Patriarch, Nicephorus, for refusing to submit to imperial decrees ordering the destruction of icons. Before his exile, Nicephorus sent Methodius to Rome as representative to maintain communication with the Pope and to keep lines of Orthodox resistance open. It was a dangerous and critical diplomatic mission. Methodius returned to Constantinople in 821. The iconoclast emperors were still in power. He did not hide, and he did not compromise, and he paid for it. He was scourged and thrown into prison, where he remained for 7 years. Won't go into all of that, but then key contributions: served as a diplomatic representative of Patriarch Nicephorus to Rome during the height of the iconoclast persecution. Endured scourging and 7 years imprisonment rather than submit to imperial decrees against sacred images. Elevated to Patriarch of Constantinople in 842, becoming the architect of the restoration of the icon veneration in the Eastern Church. Convened a council that formally restored orthodoxy, and an event still celebrated in the East as the triumph of orthodoxy on the first Sunday of Lent. Prolific writer and hagiographer, whose work helped preserve the memory of those who suffered under iconoclasm. Saint Methodius I is a saint for everyone who has ever wondered if faithfulness in obscurity matters. He spent 7 years in a cell. He didn't write a bestseller from prison. He didn't give interviews. He just held on. And when the moment came, he was ready, not bitter, not broken, but prepared to serve with everything he had. It's such an important mindset right there. On his feast day on June 14th, let's ask St. Methodius to strengthen anyone who is holding the line in silence right now, in a difficult marriage, in a hard job, a long illness, a quiet faithfulness that no one sees. God does see it, and faithfulness endures. St. Methodius I, patriarch and confessor, pray for us. Hopefully you got something from that. Stumbled through a lot of those words, but it's what happens when you read those old school names. So those ancient names, they can be challenging, but hopefully you still got something from that. For those of you that are out there that are holding the faith, but in silence, suffering in silence, we are praying for you and we are supporting you. Know that we, and most importantly, the Lord is there supporting you, and you will make it through it. So hopefully you're having a great weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you getting stuff out of this, just there'll be another saint of the day tomorrow. And hey, share that smile with the world, because it just might make somebody's day.